Good morning. I'm Rosemary DiTrolio, and you're listening to The Lightwalker's Path. It's a place to develop new insights, find your soul's purpose, hear enlightening conversation, and be inspired. Hi there, this is Rosemary, and this is The Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. Join me every Tuesday at 10 Eastern to develop new insights and find your soul's purpose. The Lightwalker's Path is a place for enlightening conversation and inspiration. So I hope that I can inspire you. You can find YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many streaming platforms for the replay. And also you can find them on my website. You just click where it says Watch Rosemary at the bottom of the page, and you can see all the podcasts that I've done so far, including this one from today. Today, it's just me and my beautiful guests that are listening in. So today is all about angels. People that know me and have worked with me know that I've been communicating with the angel realm since 1993. I was a school teacher for many, many years, 32 years. So I'm a retired teacher. But in my business, I do Reiki, energy work, angel communication, and guidance sessions. So today, I was going to just give you a little bit of information about angels. And today, I'm also going to give you a quick little meditation so you can evoke your angels to help you out. And I also pulled a couple angel cards for today. So, angels are energy beings with really high vibration, and they are located in all different kinds of spiritual backgrounds, such as Judaism, Christianity, Zoroastrianism. I think I said that wrong, but and also in Islam. They're mentioned in the Bible. They mention the guardian angels. They mention that we have emissaries. So angels are really emissaries between us, the human realm, and the divine realm. They have such a high vibration that in order for you to be kind of aware that they're there and be able to communicate with them, you also need to raise your vibration. They lower theirs, and then they step in. We're all guided. So even if you are in your darkest hour and you don't have a lot of spiritual understanding or belief, the angels can still guide you through your subconscious mind and through dreams and through coincidences. The really strong way that I tell people to know that you're guided is when you start seeing a lot of coincidences that you can't really explain. And they could be small things. It could be seeing 1111 on your clock constantly, or 444. It could be finding coins tossed around, angel feathers. It could be a coincidence that happens when you run into somebody and hear or listen to a certain bit of information that you've heard before. So the angels will kind of contact you any way that is comfortable for you. They're not there to scare you. They're not going to show up in bright, garb in front of you with big wings, because angels are a part of us. They came in with us. They are there simply to guide us and keep us on our blueprint, to keep us on our path. I've seen angels in different ways myself, both through dreams. I also have this kind of weird sleep thing where I'm between wake and sleep and I see visions, and it's called hypnagogia. And it's a state in your mind. I say I'm kind of like a dolphin, right? Half of my brain is awake and the other half's asleep. So in that state, I've seen like golden hands in my room. I've seen spots of light. I've actually seen a huge angel with wings. And I've had that experience where a guide came in and gave me a message as well in my sleep state. So it doesn't matter that maybe these things have not happened for you. It does not mean you're not guided. We all come in with an angel that's kind of stuck to us, and that angel is part of our oversoul. It's connected to your higher self. Your higher self has this direct connection to the divine realm. And because we're humans having this experience to learn, the piece of soul in you is always connected to the divine realm, whether you're aware of it or not. So it's kind of interesting, because when people start seeking, they begin getting first small coincidences. Then they might get like strange kind of chillies or aha moments when you hear something that is true or resonates with you. So all these small little ways are ways that the angelic realm reminds you you're not alone. I know life is hard. You came here to learn. You came here for a purpose, but we're always here to help and to guide you. So today I pulled a few cards for you today, and I'll read those in a moment. And the first thing I want to start with was one of my really favorite clients from New Jersey had this to say about an angel reading I did for her, and I've done many through the years. She said that through many angel readings, each one has been a lamppost on her journey. The readings have brought her clarity, and they tell you what you need to know, not necessarily what you think you need to know. It's not always what you want to hear. Life can be changing and challenging, but all the messages have always been for highest good. And she also mentioned that before she was pregnant for her daughter, I had told her I saw little white shoes, and I think a child was coming in for her. And the same thing happened when she was pregnant again, that I said the second child is going to be calmer and a different personality. And true to that, that's actually what happened. We also have really strong free will. So I want to tell you that whatever you receive, from your angels, from your guides, even from a person you go to for a reading, a session, you must always be linked in to what is your kind of like your truth. And if something doesn't feel right or resonate with you, you don't have to take it in as your truth. You can put it aside till you're ready. You could revisit that idea, but you should never blindly follow anything. So I would always tell my clients, if it resonates with you now, take it in as your truth. And if not, let it go for a while. Go back. With readings that I do, since they're written, I tell my clients to save the reading, take with you, like in your heart, what feels right, and then go back to it within, a month, 6 months, a year. And then, you can decide, like, let's read it again. And many times I've had people call me a year later and say, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. But what you had on like page 4 of my reading, oh my gosh, now I get it. Now I understand because I went through all those things. And now this makes sense for what I need right now. When I do a reading, I don't know if I'm seeing like the future or the past or right now, because really there's no linear time. When I connect with the angelic realm, they're showing me kind of an overview. And they're kind of hitting on areas that my client needs the most. The same thing with when I'm doing a reading and I find out connections with family members or even past life. It's not really just like for entertainment, like, oh, past life, I want to know who I was so I can buy shoes. It's really because there's a block or a gift within the past incarnation of a soul that they are bringing into this time now so they can understand it, use it, and move ahead with that understanding. Sometimes people's fears have dropped after a reading. I had some interesting people with fears. I had one woman terrified of water. She had died in a drowning. Another woman was terrified of lions, didn't know why. She was a Christian sacrifice. I had another person that had this real issue with her husband, who was actually quite abusive, and she did wind up leaving him. But I did the reading before I knew either one of them, and a past life came in that he had killed her before. And, it was a tenuous thing to tell her, but I said, this is what's happening. I don't know if it makes any sense for you now, but the person felt like your soulmate and very, very familiar to you because in a past life you were with this person, but they were very abusive. She started crying. Apparently this guy was hitting her and was very abusive now. So the lesson was, why did she do this again? Well, she told me that when she met the guy, it felt like her soulmate. He was so familiar to her. But the reason why he showed up in this soul group again was that this lifetime, she's supposed to learn the lesson and clear this situation between them. And part of it required her stepping away from him, being more independent, and knowing she was worthy for more. So, like, that doesn't always show up in readings. I never know what's going to come in, but I do know it's always for the client's highest good, and it's always something that will guide them. I pulled some cards today just as a quick reading for people that are listening today. When I do my angel readings, I directly channel, and I'll explain that shortly. But I don't need cards, but I use them as a very quick tool for those times when I'm doing something like this, or if I'm out in public, or even at the end of a written reading, I may pull cards just a quick little extra, okay? So the first card I got, and this is for everyone here, it's the card of balance. And this means that whatever you do in your life, it's really helpful and healing to maintain a sense of balance between who you are, who the other person is. There is a thing called boundaries. Boundaries are knowing your place, knowing the other person's place, and not interfering. Many people that are a little interfering and judgy and maybe always know what you should be doing are people that need to look into themselves more to see what they need to heal and clear in themselves, because you can only work on you. You can't really fix or change the other person, but you can guide and be a support for other people. So oftentimes people that are healers will often bond with people that have issues emotionally or otherwise, because they gravitate toward us as healers and we gravitate toward them because we can help them or we think we can. But we have to always find that boundary and that safety net of not taking someone's pain for them, because you can't. You can't fix that other person. You can only be a support, a guide, a help. And that's a really strong lesson I've learned through my life. And that's a message for you if you're listening and you're this type of person, that you need to also find that boundary between you and that other person. If you are someone who never feels worthy, you will revisit those situations to prove to you and to your soul that you are not worthy. So you might gravitate towards situations where someone makes you feel less than, because that's the truth that you are living in. Okay, the second card I pulled today was playfulness. And the playful card is one that reminds you to enjoy your life more. For me, enjoying my life means sitting in my garden. It may mean walking my dogs, calling a friend, going to see family, helping people. So to me, those things bring me great joy. And that's part of my mission here, and part of, we all have to find like our purpose and what we're here to do. And I know my purpose is to guide, and it's to open to information and to help other people find their way. And that's always been my mission. The last card that I got is the trusting card. And trust is not only given to other people, but it's also trusting your inner guidance. And that's where a lot of my clients come to me for. They're like, wow, I don't know what I'm doing. I can't trust myself. I don't know if my intuition is clear. I have no idea why I did blah, 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 and blah. And a lot of times it could be past life, but most times it could be issues from your childhood that are here because you brought them forward from the past. They could be issues of not feeling good enough, not being confident, having a very strong or directive parent that makes you feel like you can't do anything for yourself. It could be having no guidance whatsoever and being left to yourself, and you're trying to parent yourself at a young age. You're like, I don't know what to do, and then you're making all kinds of mistakes just because you're trying to survive. So many of my clients come to me with different types of issues and things that they're here to learn. So I wanted you to think about, for you, what types of guidance you might have needed, and what your patterns are. So if you have discovered that you have certain patterns in your life, chances are there's a lesson, gift, or block. Patterns usually show me, especially if there's a block, if you keep meeting the same kind of annoying person, you keep getting the same life lesson again and again and again. Usually that is a big heads up to me to say, there must be something that this person's soul is trying to tell them, because they're not getting it. They keep getting that tap on the shoulder until they get the big whack upside the head. And the whack upside your head could be, hey, I've been showing you this for like 20 years and you still haven't gotten it. We love you. You are worthy. But we keep saying, oh, I'm not good enough. No one's going to love me. I've made these mistakes. I'm not a good person. And that becomes kind of like your truth that's not true. It is the thing you believe about yourself that holds you back. So I want you to look at some of those issues that you might be struggling with in your life now and determine what it is that is your lesson for this lifetime, because we all come in for lessons, and that's what that is. All right. We're coming up on a break in about a minute. So I want to tell you that in the next section today, don't go away. The next section, I'll be talking about emissaries from God, and I'll also be giving you a quick way to connect with your angels and signs. So our sponsor break's coming up. This is the Lightwalker's Path. Please stay with me. I really don't want you to miss this next section. Thanks. Welcome back. This is Rosemary, and you're listening to the Lightwalker's Path. Every Tuesday, Eastern Time, please join me, like, share, comment, and stop back and watch every time, please. So in this section, I wanted to mention some ways that you can start developing your inner light. First thing I want to tell you about my books. So I have 3 guidance books. The first one's called Divine Messengers, and that's the one that I rewrote from Angel Voices 1111 that I wrote years ago. So I took the best of it, and I have a small guidance book related to angels, Reiki, and finding your path. The second one that is out there, and these are all on Amazon and on the links on Bold Brave TV. It's called Inspired by Angels, a book from the heart. That is also a workbook. So it is a guidance workbook that you can write in, read it, little passages, and write your thoughts for yourself. And it helps to write them down because that makes it real for you and also gives you kind of like a living, like this is how I felt like 5 years ago, or this is how I felt last week. And it helps you to maintain a coherence. The third one that I just published is called Wisdom, Sages, and Angels, and it's also a guidance kind of workbook that you can write in. And I do hope that you'll explore those. And if you have any questions and want to write to me, you could give me your thoughts on info@rosemaryd.com and I'll answer you. So how will you know that angels are around? So first thing, they are always with you, even if you are unaware. So are your guides, and so are some of your deceased ancestors if you had a close connection with them. Powerful signs, synchronicities, coincidences. So if you begin getting those, you know that you are on the path you're supposed to be on. The other thing is that you will begin to feel easier. It's more in flow when you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. You will find that if you're forcing an issue and it feels like, ooh, a force, then you are not quite aligned with the purpose that you need to be, or the people that you are in your inner circle, or in your in your learning realm, are not aligned with you. Okay, so the alignment is really important, and it should feel more like an easy solution rather than always a fight. If you're always pushing for your will, there's something out of sync with either you or the people that you are trying to get an answer from or that you are working with. Okay, so that's another thing. So I promised that I'd give you a quick connection, and I will tell you that angels need permission to intervene with you. So without that permission, they don't want to just show up. They're there behind the scenes. But if you want more directness with them, more contact, more guidance, you have to call them in. So I'm going to give you a quick little exercise where you can call in your angels. And your guardian angel is there all the time, so you can get a lot of information there. So the first thing is called grounding, which I'm going to ground you like a tree, which means I'm going to root you in the earth, okay, because I do like to garden. So I'm going to root you in the earth. I'm going to put light over you. I'm going to put purple light around you and white light, and I'm going to give you something that you can say to bring your angels in, all right? So if you're ready, just sit back comfortably and uncross your arms and legs, and just you can keep your eyes closed or open. And we're going to start with a slow, deep breath in and out. And I would like you to imagine that from the bottom of your feet, you have heavy, deep roots growing. And these deep roots are keeping you grounded to the earth and centered. Around your body, I would like you to see a bubble of light. This is a beautiful white light, almost like you're looking through a soap bubble. And you're sitting inside in a very safe, protected thing called your aura, which is this bubble of light. We're going to imagine a purple light just streaming down over your body, burning off anything that does not belong in your energy field, anything stuck, anything that feels off. We're going to imagine the sun as a ball of light, which you can imagine. When I think of the sun, I think of God, the creator, and energy, but you can think of it any way you'd like. This bright beam of light filters through the energy field, your aura, your protective field around you, and brightens you, your body, your soul, your heart. Above your head, this is called the seventh chakra, there is a gate, the gate of God. And you're going to ask your guardian angel to simply open it up for you and allow this beautiful white light energy from God and angels to enter. And you are going to ask your angels to step in. And if you would, ask them either their angel's name or any message that your angel has for you. Just with trust, just open to that idea for a moment and just sit quiet and ask your angel, say, just give me a message for what I need now, what my heart needs now, and what my next step is. And just see if anything comes in. Trust that message. You might feel a chill, warmth, a sense of peace, a visual. Okay, and then you can ask your angel to close up this part on the top of your head. Thank your angels for being there for you, and slowly open your eyes. I went through that very quick, I know. Usually during my angel communication classes, we sit with that idea for about 10 minutes after I guide my clients to this sense of, safety and comfort. You might find that this is very much like a prayer because it actually is like a prayer. You are asking God to send your angels. And people have asked me, do I pray to angels or God? I pray to God and I say, God, send me your angels. And then I say, angels, step in and help me. And that's kind of what I do. And I've been channeling since '93. So I want to explain what channeling is to me. I know if you looked it up, you're going to get different things. First thing, I don't allow anything to step in and take over my body and talk through my mouth unless I know. So when I say something really smart, I know my angels have stepped in and they've helped me. And we have this agreement that I have to be consciously aware when that's happening. And that, we've done that since '93. So sometimes they'll tell me something like really incredible that I couldn't possibly know. And I'm like, that's so cool. Or they tell me something about somebody that I'm doing a meeting with. And all of a sudden it'll pop out of my mouth. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know where that came from, but I just said this, this, and that. I know it's the angels. So that's one way that the conscious flow comes in. When I talk about channeling, I'm not in a trance state. I know people do that. I know some very good mediums that are very comfortable, like just going out to lunch basically and letting whatever spirit come in. I don't do that. My angels and I have an agreement that they come in when I ask them to, and I say, please, guide me with my client. And then a stream of consciousness will enter through my left brain, which is the creative, my right brain, which is the creative part of our brains that everyone has. And I allow the consciousness to flow in, and then I write the message. This has worked great for me, and I've done readings since '93 for hundreds of clients through the years. And what's really amazing is when the information comes in and I write it, it is not like I am writing a story. It's not like I'm writing a book. It's not like I'm creating. It comes in so quick that there is no thought process of thinking behind it. It's just an automatic flow that I have to go really fast and print it. So I used to do some handwritten, but it's too fast. It comes in so quick that I have to, jot or compute it very fast. And then if I start thinking, that's my clue that I'm out of it, and I stop and I go back the next day. So sometimes it takes me a week or two to complete a written reading for a client. And it's a lot of time invested. That's why through the years I really take them seriously when I do them for people, and I don't take every client on that wants one. The other thing is, after I do the written reading, I meet my client either on Zoom or in person. And again, I don't need to meet the person and have extensive conversations before I channel. I just need to know their questions. I talk to hear their voice only, and I may ask them a few very generalized things. And I do this for a reason. One of my clients asked me, is it easier to read for people I know or people I don't know? It's probably a lot easier if I don't know the person, because anytime that you read for family, they're always like, oh, it's because you already knew that about me. And there's always this
this kind of idea that I only wrote that because I know them, when it could be channeled, but they're never going to believe it because I know them. So for me, it's easier when I read for somebody that I don't know. So for me, channeling is a conscious thing that the flow comes in as a real quick, a quick intuitive, kind of like a quick flow. Okay. Have I ever been attacked psychically? No. However, when I was really new at Reiki and I was really new channeling, my vibration was very high. And sometimes, a soul that hadn't crossed over would be very attracted to this light and they'd want to tag on. And how I knew they were tagged onto my energy field was all of a sudden I felt exhausted for no reason at all. And it was like a weird kind of exhaustion where you can't even open your eyes. And then I would have to go out in the grass, say a prayer, and say, listen, if you're in my energy field, you're not allowed here. You need to leave. And I would actually have to get rid of whatever it was that attached to me. Years ago, I was doing a reading for a woman who's now a really well-known psychic. And it was funny because that day I was at a train station with my husband. We were having lunch and we were having a tiff. So I started crying. And apparently there was a discarnate spirit, which means ghost, someone that didn't cross over, that attached to me. And he thought I looked like his girlfriend and came home with me. That reading that day, I read for this person who's now a very well-known psychic. And we were chatting, and after my reading, telling her that she's a really good psychic and that's what she needs to be doing for her business, she looks at me and says, you came home with a guy from the train station. He says he felt bad for you because you were crying. He says, and you look like his girlfriend, so he came with you to make you feel happy. And I said, well, he's got to leave because he's making me exhausted. So that was my fun thing. So no, I haven't been attacked. And I will tell you that if you are well grounded and you pray and you have a beam of light around you, that is your protection, and you will not be at risk for all this other stuff that's out there that people are afraid of. And I really do believe that. I believe that when you have this sense of faith and love around you, that is the highest vibration. Love is the highest vibration there is, and it pops off anything negative. So if you are resonating with that energy and not fear and not hate and not distress, your energy field is already protected. Okay. So I do work with a lot of healers that I guide in that realm. Let me look at the time. Okay, got another minute or so. The other thing is that if you are centered and grounded, you will have the best centeredness that you need for healing. And in the last session, I'm going to ask if you have call-ins. You can certainly call in. I'd love to hear from you. If not, I'm going to go over some other things about angels, and I will give you some more information that you need. And I will also tell you that I have a giveaway. Welcome back. This is Rosemary, and you're listening to the Lightwalker's Path on every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern. And then each show goes into my archives. You can watch any show that you've missed. So hopefully you can share. Make sure you share it, comment, and like, because we need more people to get that light out there, and hopefully I can help. All right, so in this section, I'm going to talk about just kind of why people get stuck and how you can help yourself. So one of the greatest things, the greatest blocks that I've found that clients have and people have is, again, not feeling worthy of love. I have some very wonderful spiritual friends, and a few of them struggle. Some of them struggle with the idea that, oh, because I had this bad thought, it means I'm a terrible person. Because I have this emotion, it means that I'm not going to be forgiven. Well, I will tell you that we're created with all of the emotions of the spectrum. Every single emotion you have is supposed to be there. It's from God. The ones that can cause problems are if you have an anger and you can't let it go. That can become a block. It's fine to be angry. We all get that kind of like, oh, I'm angry at this moment. The purpose of anger is to remind you that you need to speak up. Once you do, then the next process is to understand it, understand the lesson, and then let it go. That's the hard part. If you don't let it go, it becomes resentment. Resentment becomes poison in your system. It lowers your vibration. It makes you sick, and it makes you feel powerless. All right. So one of the things I would tell you that is the fix is to be able to speak up kindly with truth. So that is one of the main blocks that people have had that come to me. Another block is realizing that we're not in control of everything else. if you spend too much time listening to arguments, if you listen to things on TV that are really negative, if you're so entrenched in the news that you are getting boggled down by the emotion of it, you have to step back. Sometimes you have to realize that a lot of news is bad news, and a lot of news that you hear is fear-based news. If you are able to step away from such things and spend more time, in nature, taking a walk, having more positive thoughts. It doesn't mean deny yourself negative emotions, or it should not mean don't talk up if you're upset. It means to increase the positivity around yourself. You can also do this with really positive friends. If you find yourself hanging out with a lot of negative Nellies, then you might have a problem. And the problem is that you need to up your game. So people resonate with other people that are similar. So if you find that all the people in your circle are complaining, chances are you might have the resonance that is in that same realm of gossiping or complaining. It's not a positive place to be. The more positive you are and the more you work on your inner soul, you might also find that some of your friendships and relationships will either transform toward the better, or they will drop away. I have found that the people in my inner circle that I spend time with are all on a growth forward kind of people. As long as I don't care if they're negative people or sad or whatever, but if they're on a growth curve, they become close to me. Why? Because in my life, I always figured that you have to keep moving forward. And if you get stuck in complaining and all that, then you're not going to move forward, and you won't be able to help yourself or anyone else, and it'll just drain me. So those people that are on a growth path, that's how you can help yourself. And then in turn, you can help other people. Other things that happen is if you find yourself really bogged down or really too worried about everybody else, that's another thing that you have to step away from doing. And here's how I do it. When my son went to college in New York, I could have been terrified. I could have thought of all the terrible news. I could have thought of all the dangers out there in the world. But instead, because I'm a person of faith, what I did was I prayed, I surrounded him with light, and I had to trust that he would make good decisions and that he would be safe. And I have to do that all the time because, he does travel a lot, and him and his family travel out of the country sometimes. And it's a scary thing for me to think, oh, he's not like right with me. He's not that little boy. He's a man, and he's, away from me. So it's something that we all struggle with because we love our loved ones. And sometimes, we know that we can't control what they do, which is part of life, right? So the best thing that you can do is pray for that person. Imagine them in a bubble of protected white light. And you can say, angels, do your job, protect my loved ones, protect my family. And then you'll know that if anything happens, and, things do happen, it is in God's hands, and that you have to have faith. And faith is the big one. That's hard to do sometimes when you don't have it, right? So you just have to have faith that things are the way they're supposed to be. We're all here on a mission. And after meeting with so many people, including ones that have crossed over and came back, I know from those people that we're all connected and that things happen for our benefit and for our learning. And that when you cross over, there are certain times that you can choose, and then there's a final time that is your final death date, right? We all have that. I'm not a medium. I do have some mediumship abilities that I don't use for my business. I do know some really great mediums. If you need a name of somebody, I can give you a couple of them. I know a few. But we all have a purpose. We all have lessons to learn in this lifetime. So even if someone's going through something really tough, it was in their blueprint because they're supposed to learn a lesson from that situation. So my thing is, if you go through something really difficult, what you can do is I want you to look for the lesson that you have learned from that other person. Even if it was the most awful person that you could imagine. You're like, oh my gosh, that person was terrible. What did you learn? Did you learn to speak up? Did you learn that you are to be valued and not treated in that way that you were being treated? Did you learn that you can affect other people with your truth? Did you learn that you can overcome? What did you learn from the situation? If you can figure that out, then you have really transformed that bad experience into something that is a growth step. And that's really a leap of faith when you can do that. The other thing that you can do is journal. Journaling's great, and it's really not just to complain. Like some people say, "Oh, should I write all my complaints in the journal?" If you want to burn the journal after, sure, if that makes you happy. But I always say, look for patterns and then say, what did I learn from this pattern? So let's say your pattern is spending a lot of money. One of the things I would look at is, what fear do you have that this thing is trying to fix for you? I know with one of my clients, in her family, she was not given things. She grew up very poor. So in her mind, when she spent a lot of money, it was like, see, I can buy this. And then she'd be really distressed because she put herself in debt. All right. I have another person that didn't get enough love as a child. And in her mind, when she spends money, it made her feel good for that time, almost like she got an emotional hit from throwing money away, from spending all that money on stuff she didn't need. And every time she did it, she's like, see, I'm a good person. I deserve this. And she would reward herself spending money. She got herself in debt. And, it doesn't mean not to buy things that bring you joy, because we all do that sometimes. But when you find that it's a pattern and it becomes a problem, it's becoming a problem, it is covering an emotional lack or something that you need in your life that you didn't get. The better way, of course, is self-love. And everybody that, has difficulties like, oh, I don't understand that. How can I love myself? If you can't love yourself, then learn to appreciate yourself. Appreciate who you are as a person. And that's where I would tell you to journal. I would say, write down the qualities in yourself that are positive qualities. What do you bring to a relationship? What do you bring to your friends? What quality do you have? I did this cool little journal thing. It was a free one I got on, I think it was from Rise, the people that sell like that mushroom coffee stuff. And they have this really cool little journal. So every day I go there and they ask you a question and I write in it, right? So today's was, what qualities do you have as a person that you like about yourself? So I put, for me, integrity, compassion, honesty, caring. Okay, those are mine. And I was able to, name them pretty fast. If a person has really low self-esteem and doesn't like themselves, they're going to sit there and like, well, I have a nice hair. They'll name something physical rather than a quality about their personality. So if you find yourself spending a lot of time just on the outside of you, like the clothing, the hair, I know a lot of people that are younger that, you do that because you're trying to, capture the attention of a male or female, right? But it's really not about that. It's about the inner qualities. So if you can develop those inner qualities as you go through life, you will be a much happier person when your skin wrinkles, your hair turns white, and you get a little pudgy, okay? And I'm saying this because, I'm in that older age group now. So work on those qualities now when you're younger and begin to appreciate who you are and begin to notice those qualities that interfere with positivity in relationships. I happen to know somebody that's pretty strong-willed, always wants her way, and she has a really hard time to saying no, getting no for an answer. It's great if you're a salesperson and you want to sell stuff. It's not a great quality for relationships. Why? The other person doesn't feel heard, or they feel that you are stepping over their free will or what they want to do. So there are ways that you can develop this compassionate understanding with each other. Some people develop it through going to a counselor. That's wonderful. A psychologist. That's wonderful. Someone like me that is like a transformational life coach. That's great. Whatever way fits your life that makes you feel heard and that gives you tools to use, not just tell you, but gives you tools that you can try out and use to help better your relationships. That's a wonderful way to be. Talking and listening. That's another dance, right? Do you ever have someone that just chatters at you? Like, I know I'm chattering today, but there's nobody here except you guys listening, right? But if you are not having that give and take in conversation, that means the other person has not developed listening skills. They have not developed the idea that you are having the same importance as their words. And that's another relationship issue that can block you. The angels can help with a lot of this too. All right. So we're coming up on the last section. Please don't go away. And we have one more section of my broadcast today. I don't want you to miss it. Come right back. Welcome back. This is the Lightwalker's Path, Grow Your Spirit with Rosemary. I thought I would just share a few words from some of my clients. I have so many. You could see the complete write-ups on my website at rosemaryd.com. I have so many of these. This one was a really long one, so I'm just going to read the very last part of it. I have a friend who I've known her for many, many years. She's a client of mine. And she said that she's filled with love and light, and she's happier now than she's ever been because of all my teachings and the gifts that Rosemary possesses. She taught me so much about God and the universe, the angels, manifestation, power of positivity, and the power of intention. She's a wonderful gift from God, and we are so lucky to call her for help, guidance, and support. Try a session with her. You will be transformed and amazed. She is a treasure. That's from one of my very good clients. I have another one. I taught Reiki. And she says, Sensei, I need to add a honorific title to your name. What an incredible day and experience. I'm so happy I met you. You gave me incredible peace when you taught me how to learn Reiki. I am energized and exhausted. I've never in my life felt such peace or trusted someone so much in my life. When I walked in, I felt like I was home. Sensei, thank you for helping me find my way. I am looking so forward to journey and growth and my path with you. Here's another one. 12 years ago, I had a reading with you. You told me my son would enter an artistic field. At the time, he was not even in college. When he went to college, he was ready to go into one field and all of a sudden switched. He wanted to become an artist. He's now in an art school in Maine, just where he's supposed to be. It's wonderful to go back and read the readings that you did again. They blend into our lives today. Thank you so much to your beloved angels and to you, and I look forward to more spiritual growth with you. So that was really cool. I love getting those from clients, and I sometimes share them, but they're close to my heart. Someone asked me what makes a good guide and a good healer. And what I would say is the person has to be well developed in their own spiritual ability. The same goes for anyone that teaches you energy work. So for instance, I teach Reiki, and I've been working with it since 96, 97. And I've seen all kinds of clients, and I've seen all kinds of issues and all kinds of growth process people go through with it. So I would also say look into how experienced the person is that you're working with. Also know that if it feels right to you. So when you meet somebody, if you get like a really weird, like creepy feeling or a prickly feeling or something doesn't resonate with you, then that might not be the right person for you. And you have to trust that guidance that you get. One of the favorite things that I teach is for people to develop their intuitive insight. And it's really the first step of any spiritual path, because when you learn to trust that intuitive insight, you can begin to make really good decisions, both with relationships, people, places, anything. I have had multiple people call me through the years, radio stations, TV, all kinds of things. Would you do this? Would you do that? And if something didn't feel right, I always said no. And I will tell you that's really important to trust that guidance for yourself. When you know something feels right to you, then that's what you need to do. You need to be able to trust it. If you don't know how to trust that guidance, that's where you go. Like with me, I teach intuitive insight, right? I can teach people how to develop that through, time-tested things that have helped me and that I've helped clients with through the years. So if you find that you need more of that, then that's something you need to explore for yourself. Okay. The other thing is you should have somebody that resonates with the energy of love or joy. If you get a real sad sack, if they're kind of negative, if they complain a lot, that is not the right person. Why? Because in order to walk on a spiritual path, you need to resonate with light and truth. And if you're not feeling that from the person that you're with, then that may not be the right person, because their high vibration can tune you up. It's like tuning forks, okay? If you put two tuning forks together, one's a lower vibration, one's a higher vibration, and then knock them together, the lower one will begin to resonate with the one that is higher. If you are a healer and you are with a very negative person all the time, if you are maintaining your integrity and your high vibration, you'll be fine. But if you are very sensitive and you don't think you're good enough, or you have distress, your vibration will begin to lower because of that other person. Okay? That's not healthy. So what I would suggest is if you are with a person that is not at the same place you are, spend time doing more positive things for yourself. Spend time with more positive friends, and that will help you a great deal. I also wanted to make, there's a couple offers I wanted to make for this particular show. One is that if you are in need and you're looking on my website, rosemaryd.com, and you're not sure if you want a reading, a transformational, whatever, long distance Reiki, whatever it is, and you don't know what it is, or you need guidance, I offer a 30-minute discovery session complimentary, but you have to contact me at info@rosemaryd.com. For this session also, I want to tell you that there's a free self-study course just for fun and exploration on my website, and it is called Dip Your Toe In. So I want you to be aware that that's also there for you to explore. Excuse me, I just lost my thing here again. Okay, so I want you to look into that also if you're looking for some guidance. All right. If you need some other help and you're in New Jersey and you're near me and you want to pop by and, make an appointment with me, I do in-person Reiki. I also do outdoor Reiki we're in New Jersey here. Right now we have a terrible heat wave, but I do have an air-conditioned office that I do sessions in. So that's also available. And I also can work on Zoom no matter where you are, where you're located. So I want to just let you know that that is there. How you can help me is please share these podcasts, like them. If you go to YouTube, you can also kind of like subscribe. That would really help get the word out because sometimes time difference, a lot of my clients are out of New Jersey, so their time difference is too early to kind of listen in. So I'd really appreciate if you do that for me. It would be just wonderful. Okay. The other thing is be really careful of your self-talk. So when you talk about yourself or to yourself, don't call yourself names, right? You just want to always kind of catch it and say, delete. I didn't mean that I'm a blah, 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 blah. I'm a wonderful person and I can always choose again. I'm on a growth process. So be careful with what you say to yourself. And also be careful of what you say to other people. We have a great ability to affect change, especially with our own children, that you want to not label them. You're lazy, you're this, you're that. Be very careful with that because kids will take it in and believe your truth because you are their parent, all right? So send love to everyone that you can. All right, so anyway, I'm your host. This is the Lightwalker's Path. Thank you for spending this hour with me. Please come back next week. All right, thanks everybody. See you next time.
I'm your host, Rosemary DiTrolio, and you've been watching and listening to The Lightwalker's Path. Learn about my workshops, sessions, courses, and more at info@rosemaryd.com. My website, rosemaryd.com, Hands of Light by Rosemary. Have a blessed and beautiful day.